So, you've just moved into a new place in Slovakia. That's awesome. But now comes the paperwork. Who exactly are you supposed to tell about your new address? And how fast do you need to do it? If you get it wrong, you could be looking at fines or even worse. But don't you worry. In the next few minutes, we are going to make this whole process completely clear. So, what's our game plan for today? Well, first, we're going to unpack the two totally separate residency systems that Slovakia has. Then, we'll help you figure out which set of rules actually applies to you. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty, the exact process, the one mistake that trips almost everyone up, and, of course, what happens if things go wrong. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what to do. All right, picture this. The boxes are finally unpacked, you're starting to settle in, but now the real work begins. The very first thing you need to get your head around is that in Slovakia, there isn't just one simple way to register your address. The rules you have to follow depend completely on what your legal status is. Okay, let's get right into the thick of it. To understand any of this, you have to know that Slovakia is basically running two completely separate parallel systems for foreign residents, especially since the mass arrival of people from Ukraine. And this right here, this is the Great Divide. On one hand, you have the humanitarian route. That's the temporary protection status. It's managed by local towns and cities, and the rules are way simpler. On the other hand, you've got the standard system for work or study permits, and that's all handled by the foreign police. Two different authorities, two totally different rule books. Getting this is the key to everything else. So knowing these two parallel universes exist is step one. The next, and honestly the most important question is, which path are you on? Your specific legal status is the key that unlocks which set of rules you need to follow. If you have temporary protection status, or Dočasné útočisko, your world revolves around humanitarian aid. Right now, it's valid until at least March 2026, but for our chat today, the most critical detail is who's in charge. It's your local municipal office. That's right, not the foreign police. But if you have a standard residence permit, for a job or school or for family reasons, then you're in a whole different ballgame. You fall under the very strict Act on Residence of Foreigners. In this world, the foreign police is king, and the rules are much more formal. They demand a much higher level of proof for absolutely everything, especially your housing. All right, theory time is over. We get the what and the why. Now, let's talk about the how. Let's get practical and walk through the exact steps you need to take based on which group you're in. First up, for those with temporary protection, you need to pay very close attention to this number. The moment you move, a clock starts ticking. You have just three working days to report your new address. That's not a lot of time, so you've got to be ready. Now the good news? The process is actually pretty straightforward. You get to completely skip the foreign police, which, let's be honest, is always a plus. You just go straight to the municipal office in your new neighborhood. All you need is your ID, your protection document, and a simple proof of address, like your rental agreement. No fees, and you walk out with an updated confirmation. And here's a great tip. You can also just log into the government portal and print an updated copy yourself, anytime. Super handy. Okay, now let's switch gears. For everyone with a standard residence permit, you get a little more breathing room, but honestly, not much. Your deadline is 5 working days. Still pretty tight. And for you, the process is, you guessed it, a lot more formal. You have to go to the foreign police, you'll submit the official form, your passport, your old residence card, and yep, you'll have to pay a fee for the new one. But all of that is the easy part, compared to the most critical piece of the puzzle, the one detail that causes the most problems, your proof of accommodation. And that brings us to what I call the application killer. Seriously, this is the #1 reason people get sent away from the foreign police, frustrated and having to start all over. It's such a small detail, but it has massive consequences. So what on earth is a notarized signature? Well, it's not just your landlord scribbling their name on the contract. No. It means your landlord has to physically go to a notary public or a special municipal office and sign the document in front of them. The official then stamps it to verify that person's identity. It's a measure to prevent fraud, and trust me, it is absolutely non-negotiable for the foreign police. And here's where that notary rule gets really tricky and causes the most headaches. If the property is owned by more than one person, say a married couple, you can't just get one signature. The law requires all of the legal owners on the title deed to sign, and every single one of those signatures must be officially notarized.
This is a huge point of failure, and if you get it wrong, your application is dead on arrival. So you might be thinking, okay, I get it. But what's the big deal if I'm a few days late? Well, failing to report your address on time isn't just a minor slip-up. It's an administrative offense, and it comes with some very real consequences.
For starters, let's talk money. If you report late, or if the police find out you're living at an unregistered address, they can hit you with an on-the-spot fine of up to €165. That's a pretty costly mistake for a simple piece of paperwork, isn't it?
But a fine isn't even the biggest risk here. The real danger is a legal concept with a scary name, the fiction of delivery. Basically, it means the government considers any official mail sent to your registered address as successfully delivered, even if you never lay eyes on it. So imagine they send a notice to renew your permit to your old apartment. You miss it, the deadline passes, and just like that, your legal residence could be canceled. That is how serious this is.
Whew, okay, I know that was a ton of information to take in. So let's just take a breath and pull it all together one last time to make sure these key differences are locked in. Think of this slide as your ultimate cheat sheet. It lays out the two different worlds, side by side. For temporary protection, you go to the municipality, you've got 3 days, you need a simple contract, and there's no fee. For standard residence, you're heading to the foreign police. You have 5 days, you need that strictly notarized document, and you're paying for a new plastic card. Knowing which column you're in is everything.
So this all leaves us with one final crucial question. It's not about a future move. It's about this very moment. Is your currently registered address 100% correct? Because taking just 5 minutes today to verify that little detail is the single best and easiest thing you can do to protect your legal status and give yourself some peace of mind here in Slovakia.